The finality is a topic in Hoyo games that always heralds a conclusion, but not the conclusion, merely a conclusion that leads to another beginning. Because just like in Amphorius, all things in Hoyo games are cyclical in nature, with everything changing, wars breaking out, and the world crumbling around us, only for everything to return to a state of calm in the end. But in Honkai Star Rail, finality is where our Trailblazer came from, and also where we are headed. But in this short section of the 3.6 story, we were transported into the deepest depths of our memories, and we got to witness everything Kafka said to us 2 real life years ago before we woke up. And in this short time, she revealed a lot, including the 4 paths that will push the cosmos to its end, with the last one being a mystery. And this mystery is exactly what I plan on shining some light on today while properly breaking down this interaction. So without further ado, this is the 4 paths of the cosmic apocalypse revealed. Okay. So first things first, let me explain what finality is, because this is a very misleading term that Hoyo likes to throw around. So to best explain finality, it's best to look at time itself as a cycle. And in this cycle of time, there are 2 points: origin and finality, with origin being the conclusion or the end, and finality being the new beginning. In this cycle of time, just like the sun and moon, origin chases finality and vice versa. And this interaction is personified in Honkai Impact 3rd, with Kiana chasing Mei and then Mei chasing Kiana, but the 2 were never destined to remain together for very long. But just like in Eclipse, there are moments where it happens and they are together, and those moments are truly special. But why do people wish to avoid the finality? Well, it is the grand unknown that comes about when everything ceases to be. But it is also needed because when there is an end with no finality to bring about a new beginning, everything falls into a void of nothingness, and therein lies nihility. Make sense? Good. So now you understand why I say that there is nothing final about finality. So let's talk about the path of finality. Well, finality is a path ruled over by the Aeon Terminus, who travels through time bringing prophecies of the future. And recently we just got confirmation that a certain faction is following this bizarre path. And that is none other than our former family members, the Stellaron Hunters. And we know this because Kafka herself reveals that without a shadow of a doubt, the Stellaron Hunters are getting their prophecies from Terminus. This was up in the air for a bit, but it is very nice to have our confirmation. Also, it is so nice that they finally brought some clarity to how the script works. I had my suspicions and theories, and they ended up being right. There is a predetermined script of events that will happen regardless, but there is a gap in which certain individuals can change things entirely. This is what she means by there is room for us to mold possibilities into shapes we prefer. Meaning that even though there are canon events that are unavoidable, our choices impact what the ending will be. Remember when our Stellaron told us to reach the ending of our story in our own way? This is what it meant. This is even more proof of our Stellaron tethering itself to the finality upon our awakening, like I mentioned in a video a while back. But let's get back on topic. The future is ours to create, and our choices as the Trailblazer will determine the fate of the universe in one way or another, even if we don't know how yet. But this is not all of what Kafka tells us, because after dropping all of this confirmation in like 2 or 3 lines of dialogue, she proceeds to tell us that 4 paths are going to drive the cosmos to its end. Them being the destruction, the harmony, the nihility, and the 4th path with an Aeon that has yet to fully show their face. Now, before we go into the 4th one, let's address the first 3, because these 3, without a shadow of a doubt, are the most dangerous in the cosmos. Let me explain. Starting off with the destruction, it's rather obvious, but let's go into it anyway. It is the big bad. Nanook's sole goal is to wipe out the universe and cleanse it of all life, because Nanook sees life itself as a mistake that must be purged with fire, resulting in the heat death of the universe. And their emanators are right along with him, because just to name a few, Selenova is 2 emanators in 1, Irontomb might just wipe out the universe by itself, and then there's Zephyro, who can blow up entire galaxies. Probably easily, because Caslana apparently blew up multiple galaxies and Zephyro beat him handily. He even gave him his weapon Aeon back just to see what he could do. Just judging by Zephyro's estimated strength, he might just be stronger than some of the weaker Aeons. Namely, the Aeon of friendly fire, Lan. A Lux arrow is not known to blow up galaxies, just multiple planets. So for the youngest Aeon, Nanook is terrifyingly strong, so it makes sense that they would be involved in the end of all things for the cosmos. And we have Tazeront and Ruber to thank for this, by the way. But here's where we get to one that I'm sure a lot of you raised an eyebrow at: the Harmony. Okay, so if you are confused as to why the Harmony is one of the paths responsible for pushing the cosmos to its end, allow me to explain to you just how terrifying this path and Aeon truly are. You see, Xipe is not one entity. They are the Aeon that is truly called they because they are plural, as in more than one being and Aeon at once. Because all who follow the Harmony also fall in line to Xipe's tune. But that's not all anymore, because Xipe has now complete control over the path of the Order, meaning that at will this Aeon gets to set the rules for the entire universe. Let me explain. You see, remember Sunday? His entire plan was to use the Harmony Emanator's power to grant a wish for the collective of Penacony for an eternal dream. Then he used the Order's power to set the rules for the dream, which would render the dream inescapable and make the dream so real that no one would notice that they were dreaming. Meaning that Sunday was going to change all that reality was for Penacony using only Memoria and Harmony power, because Order is now also Harmony. Just a Pathstrider and a single one of Xipe's harmonic strings could do this. Can you imagine what Xipe themselves is capable of? They have the uninhibited ability to just manipulate reality and force everyone under their song to play along, then set the rules on top of it. You see, this is why Lygus based the power of law and passage off of the Order and Harmony, because just like Saridra, whatever law change the Order makes affects everyone, and combined with the Harmony manipulates everyone into walking in step. So basically the Harmony allows the Order to spread, and that control aspect of the two together is a universal threat in itself. So yeah, this path is terrifying because of its sheer ability to control and manipulate reality itself. And don't even get me started on the fact that the Harmony can just assimilate other Aeons. It doesn't have to stop with Anna. The Harmony's path was already wide before combining with the Order, and now, again, this is just a Pathstrider and an Emanator who nearly plunged the entire world of Penacony into an eternal dream that no one could escape from. Enough said. So on to the Nihility. Well, do I really need to explain this? They are the all-encompassing void that may or may not be the same void that sits within eyeshot of the imaginary tree, waiting to consume the very source of all dimensions and timelines, the very concept of existential crisis ascended to godhood, the same force that may or may not have been the death of Akavili, the same thing that the Remembrance fears as an idea, being forgotten and falling into the still waters of oblivion, the void so powerful that it doesn't even need to gaze at people to make emanators, its shadow just infects people. Yeah, that. It's scary, and it's out there not caring about anything. IX doesn't have enemies or friends, it has apathy. Highly infectious apathy. So needless to say, Blobby Boy here makes the Kafka list of paths that can and will push the universe to its end. But here's the fun part. There's still one more. And 4 is a fun little number because in Chinese, 4 is the number of death and shares nearly the same pronunciation as death. The only difference being the tone. So we know for an absolute fact that the last path that has yet to show its face is going to be a threat. Remember, Polka Kakamond is Genius Society number 4. So Hoyo knows what they are doing with this. But let's get some things straight. We know that this mysterious fourth path can't be one that has gazed at us because those Aeons are well known and are in no way hiding their faces. And active Aeons like Lan, Yasha, and Klipov can also be crossed out because they're not in hiding in the slightest. But missing Aeons like Ouroboros, Adrilla, or Long could might be our culprit here, but I wouldn't place my bets on any of them. I would say that a new Aeon will ascend to preside over this new path, and that will be the fourth. Or, you know, it could just be the equilibrium, since 4 is death, and death is Castorus, who was based off of the path of equilibrium, and this Aeon is notorious for influencing the balance of the universe from behind the scenes in undetectable ways. That is a possibility, but of course we don't know, and we are most likely far from the answer. But I hope this video helped you understand at least a little bit more of what's going on here and why this is so significant. Because this is the 4 paths of the cosmic apocalypse revealed. I just wanted to shine some light on this topic because this was such an underrated part of the story that can easily get swept under the rug, but will be massively important later. The Stellar Run Hunters are like Herta in that aspect. Every time they are on screen, they steal the show with their lore dumps and showing us what is really going on, which gives people like me plenty of stuff to speculate about. And do post what you think the 4th path is going to be, because I would love to read what you guys are cooking. Because this is going to be a video we will look back on a while from now and probably say, wow, we were spot on, or wow, we really had no idea. But what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, y'all.